Humans vanished from the battlefield without warning. Sensors detected nothing. Thermal scans showed empty terrain. The alien command assumed it was a full retreat. They were wrong. 10 seconds later, the first human unit emerged from ground cover they had built from mud, leaves, and broken terrain. This was the moment the fear began. This was the moment the aliens realized the true scale of their mistake. The story begins on Draxon 3, during what was supposed to be a routine joint military demonstration between human forces and the Threx coalition. The Threx, a powerful alliance of species, had studied humanity's history. They expected brute strength and loud, intimidating machinery. They anticipated predictable, forward movements and the overwhelming noise of industrial warfare. They prepared for a storm. They did not prepare for the silence. The humans arrived with what seemed like a shockingly inadequate amount of gear. They carried light packs and long strips of fabric coated with a strange, adaptive dye. Instead of deploying heavy equipment, they simply scanned the terrain. They spoke very little. After a few hours, they dispersed into the valley and, one by one, disappeared from the visual spectrum of every alien present. Every sensor, every scanner, every high-tech. I drew a blank. The Threx officers, confused, assumed the humans were hiding underground, perhaps in pre-dug tunnels, a logical, if somewhat primitive, tactic. But they weren't underground. They were inches away from the alien observers. Every single moment, Threx patrols walked right past human soldiers without the faintest hint of their presence. Even the ground-penetrating radar failed to register their micro-movements, because each human had synchronized their breath and even their heartbeat with the natural rhythm of the wind sweeping through the valley. The aliens logged this lack of data as a sensor anomaly. They did not treat it as a threat. This was their second mistake. As the demonstration shifted to night drills, the true disparity in tactics became terrifyingly clear. The aliens, confident in their technology, activated their luminous armor and wide-beam lamps, flooding the valley with artificial light. The humans did the opposite. They extinguished every light source they had and broke into 3 groups, melting into the darkness. One group began climbing a sheer cliff face with their bare hands. Another crawled beneath the stones of a shallow riverbed, using the flowing water to mask their thermal signature. The third group simply buried themselves under patches of loose gravel and waited, motionless. Suddenly, the advanced ALIA sensors overloaded, flooded with static interference. The humans had scraped metallic dust from the rocks into the river, creating a field of electronic noise that blinded the Threx systems. Growing uneasy, the Threx officers opened a secure communication channel and requested the humans to reveal their positions. There was no reply, only the sound of the wind. When the moon finally broke through the clouds, a chilling realization dawned on the alien commander. The landscape looked different. It was subtly, almost imperceptibly altered from the scans they had taken just hours before. A bush that was logged in their database was no longer a bush. A log was not a log. A cluster of rocks, when viewed from a slightly different angle, formed the unmistakable outline of a soldier. Eyes closed, pulse slowed to a near-death rhythm to avoid detection. Panic began to creep into the Threx command center. For them, invisibility required sophisticated technology, energy-intensive cloaking devices. For the humans, it just required discipline. The Threx commander, feeling a prickle of unease, ordered a safety sweep of his immediate area. His personal guards circled the command post, their weapons drawn, their sensors on maximum. They discovered nothing. Then, it happened. A human soldier emerged from the shadows directly behind the commander and placed a small, harmless marker on his back, a training tag. The commander froze, his blood running cold. His elite guards spun around, but saw nothing but empty space where the soldier had been. A moment later, 3 more tags appeared on the armor of high-ranking officers across the command post. The humans had been among them the entire time, and just as silently as they appeared, Tay Widray, leaving no trace. An emergency meeting was convened. The Threx were shaken, accusing the humans of using illegal cloaking devices. The human instructor calmly denied it. He explained that their camouflage wasn't based on technology, but on exploiting the cognitive blind spots the aliens never knew they had. The humans had studied the local fauna, mirroring the stillness patterns of native predators. They used broken, imperfect shadows instead of trying to create perfect, artificial invisibility. They controlled their body heat through hydration and disciplined breath cycles. These tactics were ancient, primitive by galactic standards, yet they were completely, devastatingly effective. The aliens were forced to confront a terrifying truth. Their entire detection philosophy relied on predictable patterns and technological signatures. Humans operated on adaptive unpredictability. The final demonstration was supposed to be an open combat simulation. The aliens marched in a tight, disciplined formation into the center of the valley, their armor gleaming, ready for a conventional assault. The humans, once again, were simply gone. Minutes passed, intense silence. Then, a single human voice echoed from the cliffs above. It was calm, clear, and carried across the entire valley. The exercise is now over. On instinct, every alien soldier activated their armor lights to full brightness. The entire valley was instantly illuminated as if by a dying sun. And they saw them, dozens of human soldiers, perched in positions the Threx had calculated were impossible for infantry to reach without heavy lift gear. Some were on sheer vertical faces. Some were clinging to the underside of overhangs. Some were suspended in deep crevices, using only their fabric harnesses blended perfectly with the stone. They had been watching the entire alien force from dozens of angles, without alerting a single sensor. The chilling realization washed over the Threx ranks. The humans could have neutralized them all at any point, and they would have never seen it coming. The conclusion of the joint exercise was unspoken but understood by all. The Threx coalition immediately began updating their tactical manuals. They reclassified human soldiers not as heavy infantry, but as terrain ghosts. They rewrote their entire threat assessment index, admitting that their multi-trillion credit surveillance systems were utterly inadequate against a species that did not rely on tools to disappear. The humans left the valley without celebration or ceremony. They didn't acknowledge the profound fear they had instilled in their powerful allies. But the Threx, and soon the rest of the galaxy, understood a new, fundamental rule of warfare. The danger is not what humans carry into battle. The danger is what humans can become when they decide you will no longer see them. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next one.